billionaire kicked out his wife for being childless. She cried, fasted, prayed, drank herbs. Nothing worked. Years later, her twins found him begging in the streets. And before you find out what happens next, subscribe right now. Like and stay to the because what they did next will leave you in tears. Will they help him or pass away? Let's find out. In a bustling village called Amaldo, there lived a man called Chief Nonso. He was the richest and the most powerful man. His compound had 3 houses with shining iron roofs. His barns overflowed with yams. His gold pans were always full. When he walked through the market, people bowed. When he spoke, everyone listened. He had everything a man could want, except one thing: children. His wife, Mariah, was a woman so kind that even children who weren't hers called her mama. She could cook meals that made your mouth water just from the smell. She worked from sunrise to sunset without ever complaining. Her smile was warm like the morning Sunday, but her stomach stayed flat, month after month, year after year. 7 painful years of marriage, 7 years of empty arms and silent nights, 7 years of prayers that seemed to go unanswered. And Chief Nonso made sure the entire village knew whose fault it was. "I married a broken woman," he would shout in the marketplace, loud enough for everyone to hear. 7 years, and not even one pregnancy. What kind of wife is this? My friends have 5, 6 children running around. But me? Nothing. I am a laughingstock because of her. Mariah would stand nearby, her head down, tears streaming down her face like quiet rivers. She never defended herself, never shouted back. She just took the pain, swallowed it, and carried it home. The village women felt sorry for her. "That poor woman," they whispered at the stream. "You can see her spirit breaking day by day. Chief Nonso is killing her with his words. But what can she do? A childless woman has no voice." What nobody knew, what Chief Nonso never bothered to find out, was that Mariah carried a deep, secret pain. In the first year of their marriage, she had been pregnant, just 3 months along. But Chief Nonso was traveling for business in the city. And one terrible night, alone in that big empty house, Mariah felt sharp pains in her stomach, then bleeding, then loss. She lost the baby that night, alone, scared, crying in the darkness with no one to hold her. When Chief Nonso returned a week later, she never told him. She was terrified he would blame her, would say she did something wrong, would add this loss to the list of her failures. So she buried the grief deep in her heart and prayed that God would give her another chance, just one more chance to be a mother. But the years passed, and her prayers seemed to bounce off the sky and fall back down unanswered. And her husband's cruelty grew worse with each passing month, until one afternoon changed everything. Mariah had made a decision, a desperate, final decision. For 7 years, she had endured her husband's insults. 7 years of shame. 7 years of being called useless, barren, cursed. She had tried everything: prayers, herbalists, fasting, sacrifices. Nothing worked. But there was one last thing she hadn't tried. Deep in the forest, there was a special plant. The old women whispered about it at the stream. They called it Mother's Hope. It had tiny purple flowers and grew only in the deepest part of the bush, where few people dared to go. It makes barren wombs fertile. An old woman had told her secretly, but you must pick it yourself, with your own hands, and you must go alone. So that afternoon, when Chief Nonso left for the market, Mariah took a small basket and walked toward the forest. The sun was high and hot, the path was dusty, her heart pounded with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. "Please, God, help me. I'm tired of being childless," she prayed silently. "Let this work. Just give me one child. Just one. I can't take the shame anymore. Not again." She entered the bush, pushing past the first line of trees. The air became cooler, darker. The sounds of the village faded behind her. She walked deeper, looking for the purple flowers the old woman had described. Her hands trembled as she searched through leaves and branches. Sweat dripped down her face. Searching. Where is it? It has to be here somewhere. Somewhere. She pushed through a thick cluster of bushes, thorns catching on her wrapper, and then she heard it. A sound that made her freeze completely. Crying. Weak and desperate. The unmistakable sound of babies. Mariah's basket fell from her hands. Her heart stopped. What? She whispered, turning her head to listen. There it was again. Faint, getting weaker, coming from just ahead, near a large rock. Her hands began to shake. Everyone in Yamato knew you didn't follow strange sounds in the forest. That's how people got lost. That's how spirits tricked you. But that sound, those cries, they weren't spirit sounds. They were real, human, desperate. Mariah's empty arms, her broken mother's heart, pulled her forward. She forgot about the herbs, forgot about her fear. All she could hear were those weakening cries. She pushed through the final bushes and, Jesus Christ, 2 tiny babies, a boy and a girl, lying on the bare ground near a large rock, wrapped in torn, filthy cloth. Their skin looked pale and dry. Their little lips were cracked. Their bodies were covered in small scratches from thorns. They had been crying for so long they barely had strength left. Their sounds were more like weak whimpers now. Mariah fell to her knees, scooping them up against her chest. Who did this? Who would throw babies into the forest to die? She looked around frantically. No mother, no father, no one. Just these 2 helpless, dying babies, abandoned like garbage. They were burning with fever. Their bodies were so hot it scared her. They were dehydrated, starving, covered in insect bites. Tears exploded from Mariah's eyes. All the pain of 7 years, all the prayers for a child. And here were 2 babies that someone had thrown away. I've got you, she sobbed, holding them close. You're safe now. Mama's here. I won't let you die. I promise you. I promise. She forgot all about the fertility herbs, forgot about her basket, forgot about everything except these 2 precious lives in her arms. She stood up and ran back through the forest, ran toward the village, ran toward home. Hold on, she whispered to them as branches whipped her face and thorns tore her wrapper. Just hold on, please, God. Let them hold on, please. She burst out of the forest into the sunlight, running faster than she'd ever run in her life. People in the village stopped and stared as she ran past. 2 babies clutched to her chest, her clothes torn, her face scratched and bleeding, her eyes wild with determination. Mariah, what happened? Where did those babies come from? She didn't stop, didn't answer, just kept running toward her house, toward help, toward hope, toward the moment that would change everything. Mariah burst through her door, gasping for breath, sweat and tears streaming down her face. The 2 babies clutched desperately against her chest. Chief Nonso was sitting in his chair, counting money from his recent business deals. He looked up, irritated at the interruption. What is all this noise? Where have you been? And what? He saw the babies. His eyes narrowed immediately. His face hardened like stone. What is that? Babies, Mariah said, her voice shaking with urgency and emotion. I found them in the forest. They were left to die. They're burning with fever. They need water. They need help. Please, take them back. The words were cold, sharp, like a knife cutting through her hope. What? You heard me. Take them back where you found them, right now. But they'll die. Look at them. They're sick. They have fever. They're covered in scratches. I don't care. Chief Nonso stood up, his voice filling the entire room. You went into the forest looking for herbs to fix your useless womb, and instead you bring back another man's shame? Another man's bastards? They're not. Take them back, he roared, his face twisted with rage. You cannot give me children for 7 useless years, and now you want to bring cursed, thrown away things into my house? What kind of foolish woman are you? The babies whimpered weakly in Mariah's arms, their small bodies trembling. Please, Mariah begged, her voice breaking completely. Please, my husband, just let me give them water. Just let me cool their fever. Then I'll take them to the missionary. I swear. Please, they're dying. They're just innocent babies who did nothing wrong. Innocent? Chief Nonso's laugh was ugly and cruel. Their own parents threw them away. They're cursed, bad omens. And you stupid woman, you want to bring that curse into my compound? They're babies, children of God. How can you? Get out. He grabbed Mariah's arm roughly, his fingers digging into her skin. Get out of my house. Take those cursed things and get out. If you want to be a mother to someone else's garbage, then do it somewhere else, not in my house. Please, my husband just. Chief Nonso dragged her to the door and shoved her outside. She stumbled, almost falling, clutching the babies tighter to protect them. The door slammed shut behind her. She heard the wooden bolt slide into place with a sound of finality. Mariah stood there in the afternoon sun, 2 dying babies in her arms, her body shaking, her heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Around her, neighbors who had heard the shouting stood in their doorways, watching, whispering. Some looked sad, some looked away in shame, but no one stepped forward to help. For a long moment, Mariah just stood there, tears streaming down her face. She had gone into the forest looking for herbs to make her fertile, to give her a child, to end her shame. And God had answered her prayer in the most unexpected way. Not with her own pregnancy, but with 2 babies who had no one. 2 lives that needed saving. 2 hearts that needed love. She looked down at their small, fevered faces, their eyes barely open, their breathing shallow. And something shifted inside her, something powerful and unbreakable. You won't die, she whispered fiercely. I went into that forest praying for children, and God gave me you. If your father threw you away, then I will be your mother, starting right now, right now. She lifted her head high, straightened her back, wiped her tears, and she turned away from the house that had been her prison for 7 years. She walked with purpose, with determination, with a strength she didn't know she had, toward the edge of the village, toward Mama and Didi's house, toward a new life. She never looked back, not even once, because sometimes God answers prayers in ways we never expect. Sometimes what we're searching for finds us instead. And sometimes the greatest blessing comes wrapped in the greatest sacrifice. Mariah reached Mama Nidi's small compound just as her legs were about to give out. Her arms ached from carrying the babies. Her body was covered in scratches from the forest. But she kept going. She knocked urgently on the wooden door. Mama and Didi, please, help me. The babies are dying. The door opened immediately. Mama and Didi stood there, lamplight glowing behind her. Come in, child, quickly. She took the babies from Mariah's trembling arms and moved with surprising speed for someone so old. She wrapped them in warm, dry cloth. She heated water with herbs and honey, feeding it to them drop by drop with a small spoon. She rubbed their tiny bodies with warm oil until color returned to their skin. Within an hour, the babies were sleeping peacefully, their breathing steady and strong. Mariah collapsed on the mat, all the pain of 7 years pouring out in sobs that shook her whole body. Mama and Didi let her cry. Sometimes tears need to flow before healing can begin. When Mariah's crying finally slowed, the old woman sat beside her and took her hand. You did a beautiful thing tonight, Mama and Didi said softly. When your own heart was broken, you still had room to love. That is what makes a real mother. But they're not mine. They are now, Mama and Didi said firmly. From this moment, you are their mother, and you will be the best mother they could ever have. Mariah looked at the sleeping babies, so tiny, so innocent, so peaceful. I don't even have a home anymore. You have a home here, with me. I'm old. I have space. And these children, Mama and Didi looked at them with knowing eyes. These children are special. They were placed in your path for a reason. What do you mean? You prayed for 7 years for children. Your tears reached heaven. Sometimes God answers prayers in unexpected ways. These babies are your blessing, child. Your answered prayer. Fresh tears rolled down Mariah's cheeks. But this time, they were tears of hope. What happened next was something nobody could explain. The twins grew at an impossible speed. In 1 week, they looked like 3-month-old babies, chubby, healthy, always smiling. In 2 weeks, they were sitting up and playing with each other. In 1 month, they were crawling everywhere and babbling words. Mariah was shocked but grateful. She named them Kachi and Adana, her son and daughter, her joy and purpose. By the second month, they were walking and talking in clear, full sentences. Mama, I love you, little Kachi would say, hugging her legs. Mama, you saved us. Adana would whisper at night before sleeping. They remembered. They knew. By the third month, they looked like 7 or 8-year-old children, but their eyes held wisdom far beyond their age. Old souls in young bodies. Kachi could hunt small animals in the forest with incredible skill. Adana could cook meals that tasted better than anything in the village. Together, they worked Mama Ndidi's small farm, and somehow the crops grew taller and healthier than anyone else's. Word spread through Amado like wildfire. Have you heard? That barren woman now has children? But where did they come from? She had no stomach 3 months ago. Those children aren't normal. They grew too fast. Maybe she used dark magic. The gossip reached Chief Nonso's ears. And what he did next showed just how deep his pride ran. Chief Nonso came to Mama Ndidi's compound one afternoon. He wore his finest wrapper, trying to look important and powerful. Mariah was outside washing clothes. Kachi and Adana sat under a tree, reading from old books. Mariah, he called out, his voice falsely sweet. She didn't turn around. What do you want? I came to see you and the children. He stared at the twins, his eyes full of greed. They were beautiful, healthy, strong. We have nothing to say to you. I made a mistake, he said, the words sounding rehearsed. I was angry. I didn't mean what I said. You're still my wife. These children should come home. We can be a family. Mariah stopped working and turned to face him. Now you want us? Now that you see I have children? They belong with their father. You are not their father, Kachi said, standing up. Though he looked only 7 or 8, his voice was strong and adult. The woman who saved us from death is our mother. The man who threw her into the storm is nothing to us. Chief Nonso's face flushed with anger. You small boy, you dare talk to me like this? I will beat respect into you. He raised his hand to slap Kachi. Big mistake. Kachi caught his wrist mid-air. His grip was like iron. Chief Nonso tried to pull away but couldn't move. We said leave, Kachi repeated calmly. Don't make us say it again. He released Chief Nonso's hand with a push. The grown man stumbled backward, shock and fear in his eyes. This is witchcraft, Chief Nonso shouted as he backed away. Those children are demons, evil. Mark my words, I will deal with all of you. But nobody was afraid of him anymore. Pride, they say, comes before a fall. Chief Nonso's fall was spectacular. First, his crops failed. A strange disease killed all his yams. Every single one rotted in the barn. Then his goats got sick. Within 2 weeks, half of them died. He had to sell the rest for almost nothing. Then his houses needed repairs, the roofs leaked, the walls cracked, but he had no money to fix them. He borrowed money from friends to maintain his lifestyle, borrow more to pay back what he borrowed, borrow even more to keep up appearances. Within 2 years, Chief Nonso had lost everything. His houses were sold to pay debts. His land was taken. His title as chief was stripped away because he could no longer support the community. The man who once owned half the village now owned nothing, not even the clothes on his back. And where was Mariah during all this? She was thriving. Her small farm had grown into a successful business. She employed 15 people. Her crops were so good that traders came from distant villages to buy from her. She built a new house not as big as Chief Nonso's old compound, but filled with love and laughter. Kachi and Adana became known throughout the region as the smartest, kindest young people anyone had met. They helped build a well for the village. They taught other children to read. They gave food to the poor. The contrast was stark and painful. While Mariah rose, Nonso fell. While she built, he lost. While she gave, he begged. 5 years after Chief Nonso lost everything, he sat in the dirt, begging in the market square. His former compound was now owned by someone else. He slept in an abandoned hut at the edge of the village. His meals came from whatever scraps people threw his way. Some people in the village felt sorry for him. Most didn't. He brought this on himself, they would say. The way he treated that woman. Karma is real. On this particular day, Kachi and Adana, now looking like teenagers, wise beyond their years, were walking through the market with their mother. They were buying supplies for Mariah's farm. They stopped when they saw him. Chief Nonso sat there, hand outstretched, barely recognizing the people passing by. "Mama," Adana whispered. That's him." Mariah's hand went to her chest. She hadn't seen Nonso in 5 years. The change was shocking. The once proud man was now a broken shell. "Let's go," Mariah said quietly. "This is not our concern." But Kachi didn't move. "No, Mama, wait." He walked toward Chief Nonso. Adana followed. They stood in front of the broken man, looking down at him. Chief Nonso looked up slowly. When his eyes met theirs, recognition sparked. His whole body began to shake. "No," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "It can't be you." "Hello, father," Kachi said, his voice cold. Chief Nonso started crying immediately. Please forgive me. I lost everything. I have nothing, please." "You lost everything?" Adana repeated. "Everything? Do you even know what that word means?" She knelt down so her face was level with his. "Mama lost everything the night you threw her out. Her home, her dignity, her hope. But you know what she didn't lose? Her humanity, her kindness, her ability to love. Please." Chief Nonso reached out with a shaking hand. "Just some food. I haven't eaten in 2 days." Kachi pulled out a small package from his bag. It contained bread and dried meat. He held it out. Chief Nonso reached for it desperately. But Kachi pulled it back slightly. "Answer me one question first. Anything. Why did you do it? Why did you treat Mama like that? She gave you 7 years of her life. She did everything for you. Why?" Chief Nonso's face crumpled. Tears streamed down his dirty cheeks. Because I hated myself. Because I was empty inside. Because hurting her made me feel powerful when I felt powerless. Because I'm a coward who destroyed the only good thing in my life." He sobbed openly. "I know sorry doesn't fix anything. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I don't even deserve this food. But please just let me say it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." The entire market had stopped to watch. Women were crying. Men looked away, uncomfortable. Kachi handed him the food. "This is not from me. It's from Mama. Because even after everything you did, she still has a heart, unlike you." Chief Nonso took the food with trembling hands. Thank you. "Don't thank us," Adana said, standing up. "Thank God for giving you a wife who is better than you ever deserved. Thank God that when you threw away love, someone else found it and treasured it." They started to walk away. But then Mariah appeared. She had been watching from a distance. She walked up to Chief Nonso and looked down at the man who had made her life miserable for 7 years. He couldn't even meet her eyes. "Nonso," she said quietly. He looked up, shocked to hear her voice after so many years. "I forgive you." The words hung in the air like bells. "I forgive you. Not because you've suffered enough, not because you've paid your debt, but because carrying hate in my heart would make me like you, and I refuse to become what you were." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small cloth purse. She placed it in his hands. "There's enough money in there for food for a month, and a note with directions to a place in the next village where they help people start over. If you want to change, really change, go there. If you want to keep feeling sorry for yourself, that's your choice. But this is the last time we will ever speak." Chief Nonso stared at the purse like it was made of gold. "Why?" he whispered. "Why would you help me after everything?" "Because," Mariah said, tears in her eyes. "Someone once told me that the best revenge is becoming so blessed that you forget to hate your enemy. You destroyed 7 years of my life. But I refuse to let you destroy one more day." She turned to her children. "Let's go home." As they walked away, Chief Nonso sat there in the dirt, holding the money, watching the family he could have had disappear into the crowd. Some people in the market clapped, some cried, some just shook their heads at the powerful lesson they had just witnessed. If this touched your heart, subscribe now for more powerful stories. Drop a comment. Have you ever forgiven someone who hurt you? Remember, Forgiveness sets you free, not them. See you in the next story. God bless you.